Good afternoon, everyone. This is Kosala, also known as Marventus, bringing you yet another episode of Marv's Point of View. This is one of my own games, and I do these every Thursday. And the point of the exercise is to show you guys how I am doing my gameplay, and generally features a game that I lose, so we can actually learn something. Here I'm playing with my buddy Silent X, who's been doing extremely well for himself in the Bronze League, heading currently at number 1 in his league, playing as random. In the bottom left-hand corner as the blue Zerg is myself, Marventus, in the bottom right-hand corner, playing random but now spawning as Protoss. The gold Protoss is Silent X. So let's get a production tab up and see what we do here. Alright, beginning of the game, nothing strange or weird going on. There are drones, then there are probes, and then there are pylons, as indeed there should be. Alright, let's see what else. Overlords popping out here. I am digging this new replay interface, by the way. It's really quite excellent. But I like the enhanced production tabs. I like being able to see both of the units. I'm sure that's useful to the viewers as well. And then I've recently discovered this rather snafu little bar that pops up there when you hit Control N. Look at that. Now you see it, now you don't. Very cool. Alright, so that's up there now as well. And let's see how Silent starts out here. He's doing his probing thing. He's coming to do a little poking around in my base. And I am generally, I usually Silent X, and I tend to practice a little ZvZ because I'm generally quite bad at my ZvZ. Now that I just said that I actually won one of my few ZvZ wins just now in a league game as well. But nonetheless, there's plenty of practicing to do. This is a thing Silent likes to do quite a bit. He comes and grabs my gas, delaying my gas production. So there you have it. I was a little late in poking at that probe, but both of my gases are now gone. And I am deciding to focus on droning as a result of that. In the meantime, over on his base, what's going on? The first of the gateways is now appearing. Now, one of these things I tend to do quite poorly, that I've recently started to realize I really need to do with Protoss opponents, really, is become as aggressive as possible, as early as possible. Early aggression does throw a Protoss off a little bit, and it is rather important to make sure that's happening as soon as conceivably possible. And I am still playing vastly too passively. I'm not totally sure that, although it's generally considered a passive race, a passive reactive race, I don't necessarily think Zerg have to play that way. Although having said that, I haven't come up with a good aggressive mode myself yet either, but I'll have to keep poking at it until I see how I do. My drone being chased away here by a probe, but he's just popped in to take a look at, and in the meantime the Overlord has come in instead. So I still get a full scout going on over here. I see the gateway, I see the cybernetics core, and I see the chrono boosting going on here on the Nexus as a couple of probes are chrono boosted out. In the meantime, back at home, my spawning pool has just landed. The first of the spine crawlers is now going up to provide some additional defense, and my drone is being chased all the way home by that probe. There we have it. Still haven't taken down those gas, but I poked a spine crawler at each gas point. That should take care of that. In the meantime, I'm trying to focus on my droning, which is going so-so, I should say. 4 minutes into the game, I've got 1.5 rows of drones, which frankly is pretty damn horrendously terrible. Now, the reason it is that way is because my multitasking is really nowhere near up to scratch. I really need to learn to multitask vastly better than I do. Because while I'm busy doing the running around at the opponent's base or trying to focus on putting spine crawlers, I'm not doing anything else particularly well. I really need to learn to do that much faster. My APM is really quite bad. Queen's pop now as well. Spine crawler is taking care of the gas, but as you can see, it is now heading towards minute number 5 in the game, and I have not even begun my gas production. In the meantime, Silent is already plopping out a Stargate, which I actually did not manage to see, I don't think. Let's take a look at that. Did I see that? I did see it. I did see the Stargate. There we have it, and that Overlord is about to drop dead. I'm taking my first expansion now, 5 minutes into the game, at 15 supply. Except my Overlord just got toasted, so now I need to pop up a few Overlords instead to try to see if I can build any more units before I build any more units. Now that the gas situation has been dealt with, it's time to move the Overlords down there. Not the Overlords, rather the spine crawlers. And then to gas up here. Now I'm seriously behind on my gas production. So the stuff that's going through my mind right now is, what do I do in this point? Clearly I am already behind when it comes to any kind of higher level tier units, because my gas is simply too far behind to catch up. So the idea here is to try and get as many low-tech, low-gas units out as possible to deal with the incoming threat. And the question is that going to happen fast enough? We're about to find out. The Stargate is now finished. The Stargate is finished. The second assimilator is going down for silent, and an additional gateway coming up as well. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 3 gate. Is it? It's a 3 gate so far. No wall off happening, you see. He hasn't even walled off, and I just did not make enough use of that really at all. And there's the forge coming down as well. In the meantime, let's see how I'm doing. My hatchery has now popped. My droning is still weak. Look at that. It's actually down to even less drones than it was before, because I've been busily building units like the spine crawler, but not replenishing. This is just extremely poor. I mean, it's incredible nubness going on here, really. I don't usually play this badly, but I certainly did in this game. So way behind on gas, way behind on economy. Now finally a large amount of drones are about to pop out and head off to the secondary base. But it's a little bit a question of too little too late. First Phoenix now popping up on the scene. We've got Stalkers on the scene here as well. But you see here, Silence got a surprising lack of units because he's been spending all of his money on getting buildings. If I had waltzed in here with a large amount of Zerglings, which I really should have done, this would have been all over. But I didn't. I simply did not get aggressive enough. This is actually something I thought of myself, why people don't just wall in their probe line like this as Silent is doing, because this is actually something that would work as long as the Zerg, in my case myself, is being as lazy as I'm being right now. If I had come in early with Zerglings, there'd be no way he'd get away with this. But I didn't come in early with Zerglings, giving him all the time in the world to build a little wall around his base, and now he's got a one base production fiesta going on with air units coming in, which is very bad news for me because I've got exactly 0 anti-air. I've got very bad saturation there and only semi-saturation there, so this is really not looking good at all. And now here come the units from Silent, and this is pretty much the beginning of the end, really. Somehow I managed to mess up both of my economy, my timing, and the general concept of attacking your opponent in this game. So really rather shoddy all around. So do not do this at home, you viewers out there. This is the wrong way to play a Zerg. This is how to get nuked in a really big... I mean, truly, I'm really not this bad usually. I just happen to have been incredibly bad in this particular game. And now that I'm re-watching it, I am just amazed at the nubness. I mean, this was some seriously, horrendously terrible Starcraft playing going on right here on my side. Really bad indeed. There were so many opportunities to break this, and yet I do not know what the hell I was doing. Very strange indeed. Very, very strange indeed. That lair is about to go down in a really big hurry, and I am going to be GGing out of this game any second now, because as you can see, I've got absolutely no units, no production, no droning. It's just bad. And we have a fully charged Void Ray over here taking down my lair all by its damn self. We have another Void Ray heading down this way. And those queens look like they're about to get toasted as well. There goes my lair, there go both of my queens into the air, and that is pretty much the end of that. So yes, really not successful at all. So yes, what can I say? I actually didn't realize I played this game this badly until I saw this review. This is just horrendously embarrassing, and I'm gonna sign off on that note. I hope you guys enjoyed watching my epic nubness at play over here. But aside from this rather ridiculously pathetic foray of Zerglings, not even Speedlings I tell you, but Zerglings, 11 minutes into the game. Zerglings are going to go charging into here and do what, I say? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. It is just terrible, it is just poor, it is a textbook case example of how not to play a Zerg. This was just unbelievably bad. It's just epically bad. It's an incredible level of nubness. This is what happens when you don't play Starcraft for about a couple of months. You come back and you start playing like a complete noob. It is truly awful, very embarrassing. I am now going to be signing off now. Have yourselves an absolutely lovely day. Ta-ta.